We are back with our first returning guest. Cameron Hamilton was actually #1 guest on Prop by the Bar, so thanks for joining us again, Cam.
Not a problem at all.
Now, we're actually here at Woolstore's Bar and Restaurant, which is the latest establishment opened by Hamo Hospitality. So congratulations on the new place, mate.
Thank you very much.
Looks fantastic. And are we officially opened?
Yes, we opened last Saturday.
Last Saturday?
So very excited to be here.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Perfect.
lucky for you, mate.
I'll have to get a booking in. So this building we're in is actually one of the first buildings that you and your family owned.
Yeah. Back in '95, we picked this up from the Gordon TAFE at the time. So it used to be bricklayers school, electrician school, and all that sort of stuff. And obviously before then a wool store. So
And it's been transformed now into 20 odd tenancies, a vibrant, bustling hub, and now a restaurant.
Yeah, so we always had a view of creating a restaurant here, but it wasn't. I have to constantly remind myself I'm a landlord first and restaurateur later, or business owner later. So
you are getting a bit of a name for a restaurateur, mate. You've got, what have we got? The 1915 out there at Federal Mills.
Federal Mills.
You've got the Federal, the Paddock, the Federal, and you've got the Retreat Road now as well, which we'll hear about later.
Yep.
And this as well. Am I missing anything?
And there's another one, Mexicans.
Mexicans.
That's a story for another
Mexicans.
day. Yeah.
I love it. Who came up with that name?
I don't know. I'm really creative. Hence the name the Wool Store here.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Love it. So what brought on the foray into hospitality outside is this to facilitate the amenity to the rest of the tenants?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
We sort of found that we were really promoting spaces for, hospitality ventures, and we found sometimes we're being left disappointed. So sometimes the only way to do something is to do something right, do it yourself.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
We decided to go about that, and then just sort of found a love for it. So here we are.
It's come up beautifully. You always do a great fit out, no matter where you go, and the fit out you got here is absolutely amazing, isn't it, Mike? It's perfect.
Oh, it's outstanding. And so it's gone to another level again.
Yeah, we sort of thought the Newtown market could handle that, and I must admit, seeing the bills come through every day, it hurt a little bit, but because I am an accountant, so I still can't let go of that. But no, we're very happy with the final result, and it's a pleasure to eat here. I've sort of eaten 4 or 5 times here now, and I actually just had a meal today and told them, give me everything I haven't had.
What do you eat when you come here? What's your favourite?
Well, I just get the chef selection.
Chef selection.
Yeah, don't have to think about it.
I really like that. Anywhere I go, we're sort of like, well, they know best, so we leave it to them, and then they see when I've been in a couple of days in a row, and they go, okay, well, we've got to give them something different.
So, designed by Hamilton.
Yep.
Fitted out by Hamilton.
Yep.
Occupied by Hamilton.
Correct. There we go.
Perfect.
There we go.
Yeah. Run by Hamilton.
Yeah.
Run by Hamilton. Well, so your journey in property through this Barwon River Precinct. We're trying to focus a bit on the Barwon River at the moment. You've had a long history of the river precinct, and you've got now also things like the Pegasus store that you bought, the antiques building that you bought, amongst other stuff along here. Where do you see the vision of this precinct changing over the next 5 to 10 years along the Barwon River?
Look, we sort of see everywhere else. Just look at Melbourne, how much of a focus there is along the Yarra there, and we just haven't really delivered that in Geelong. So,
it's a second waterfront, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. You go along South Bend there, it's just beautiful. So we're missing those opportunities down here. So I think there's, that's a real focus of ours is to, focus on other areas where things are being done really well.
Yeah.
And, looking at Pegasus itself with its direct frontage to the waterfront, we think we need to capitalise on that and really bring people down to enjoy this.
Do you think it's going to be easier to develop down here than it would be in the CBD? You've got other interests in the CBD, but do you think you seem to be getting things moving faster down here than in there?
Yeah, look, I think every site has its own challenges, and Pegasus, for instance, heritage listing. Where do I start with all of that?
A lot of hurdles.
I think you're under the microscope a little bit more in the CBD. Everyone's looking at it and everyone's commenting on it, and if it takes you a little bit longer to get your permits sorted, everyone's commenting and saying you need to do this, you need to do that. But whereas down here it was a little bit quieter when we did it, so we sort of did it, under the cover of darkness.
Yeah.
So,
It's just got to be done.
albeit we didn't do it like that. Obviously, we got all the permits, all the rest of it, but no one really knew about what was happening until it was done, and then everyone was like, "Oh, that's fantastic! Have you seen it?"
Yeah. That's sort of what you want, isn't it? You want to just get in and obviously get it done without any hurdles.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got a lot of those bureaucratic hurdles at the moment around different places, but the Barwon River has had its hurdles over a period of time. It's been an area that has defined Geelong, like going back 100 years when it was the place where a lot of our wool stores were located, and then as we moved to transition to automotive, it was a hub for automotive and a lot of automotive suppliers and things like that. And now it's becoming the transitional hub for office workers and offices, isn't it? Like with what you've done and what they're doing across the road at the wool stores and other places, and also Barwon Park, Michael.
Barwon Business
We're going to talk
Park,
to Phil Petch a bit later about that, but it really is becoming a destination place for offices.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you talk about the industrial heritage of these areas, and that was mainly driven by the fact you could dump all the effluent into the waterways. So, we're sort of using the waterways for a different purpose now. And the fact that everyone gravitates towards them, it really means we should focus on
absolutely
ourselves.
And about time, I say.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Cam, another hospitality venue that we hope to see open soon is Retreat Road.
Yes. So it's called The Retreat. Once again, we're very creative with the name. So it is on Retreat Road, and we thought it's an appropriate name. So it's a smaller restaurant with a focus on wines and sort of more French cuisine. We're right in the middle of the development at the moment, and we're sort of hoping late April, early May. We'll be open. I was sort of pushing these two for the same time, but the hospitality team sort of pulled me back a little bit and said, "Come on, mate.
Give us a fair go.
We've got to do one thing at a time." So we slowed that one down a little bit, and we're getting really close, and we're really happy with it.
Yeah, it's a great spot with that one as well. We had you last on the show, August 2020, if you can believe that. I think we were still mid-pandemic or very early in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we spoke about a lot of the projects. You've been a busy boy since then. We've had.
I don't like to sit still. Yeah.
No, so we can talk about some of the projects. We've had the Glasshouse.
Yes.
That's been finished off.
Yeah, we're fully occupied there.
Yeah,
it's going really well.
Final piece of the puzzle, the Hendersons. We'll extend that.
Obviously, you were instrumental in that, Michael, and we were able to purchase Hendersons, which. It's an interesting story. I think I went back to our records and we first tried to purchase that in 2004.
Yeah,
so I think it took us about 15 goes at it.
Yeah.
But, all good things come to those who wait, and, we finally got it. So the guys are mid-build at the moment, and they're expecting to be sort of complete by, late 2025.
And will that just be an extension of what you've got in Fedmills?
Exactly right. So I think we've got some 32 tenancies within that space, sort of ranging from 150 to 500 square metres. So it should be really good.
So, Cam, one of the buildings that's probably garnered most attention or a lot of attention has been the Regent Theatre. So can you actually talk us through how much work's gone into that building? Because it's looking absolutely sensational at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I told you the story last time, but I was walking down Market Square one day and I could see the reflection. The sun was coming straight across the render and we could see the original arch window. So that sort of led my desire to get that. I'm like, there's something good under there. Having seen the old pictures and all the rest of it, we sort of thought there's got to be something good. So the whole way through, we never knew what was there.
So you weren't confident whether how much of the facade was there?
The arch window was there, but I didn't know how much of the detail would be there. So we were pleasantly surprised when we pulled it back and saw a lot of the detail was there, and we were able to sort of focus on that and make sure we deliver something pretty nice.
It does look bloody good. And so that's really good for that precinct, and hopefully, I'm banging on about Market Square and trying to get something happening there. But Bright Hitchcock next to that, there's some, you've exited the tenants and you're starting to do some work internally in there.
Yeah. Look, we're definitely going on that one. We've had to pivot a few times on what we're going to deliver there. Obviously, the town piece is an interesting one for everyone involved. I personally think the stay-at-home workers is not helping anyone, and it's probably sent the town back 10 years.
Couldn't agree more.
To be honest. So, if we really want some change in our CBD, I think we really
we've got 4,000 employees that aren't coming to the CBD at the moment. That should be, TOC, WorkSafe and that sort of thing. And it'll be very interesting now with these court cases around WorkSafe, with employees having accidents at home and suing the employer, that maybe we'll get some change in thought process about government employees working at home.
I think it's a must. Otherwise, we're going to be waiting another 10 years until we've got people living in the CBD to see that change. And the traders simply can't sustain that. So, as we're in a similar position, you want to develop these buildings, and we always do it without, the anchor tenants. but it makes it
it has to be financially feasible. It has to be financially feasible. Yeah. We need something in the CBD right now to encourage that development, don't we? Like we need a key thing. So, I've been banging on about that with Market Square. I think it should be a central heart.
I apologise for taking us there, Michael.
I was always going to get to something, but
you see my face goes over.
I'll leave it there. I want to take you down to one of my most exciting projects I've seen you get stuck into recently, Papermills.
Yes.
I was ecstatic when I saw you bought that because I thought, here we go again, another federal. That's an exciting project, and it's such a historical, important property for Geelong. Tell us a little bit about why you're taking on because I think that's a pretty big project too. So why are you taking on another big one?
As you know, we love the old historic mills and the like, and that's always been in my view to do something down there. I did have a go at it in about 2019, so just before we last caught up. We weren't able to get it done, but luckily for me, someone approached me, and straight away it was literally a 5-minute phone call. They said, they want to sell it about this much, and I said, I'm in.
Yeah, right.
Done. So
and you had a few issues with sewer and all sorts of stuff to get it up there.
So, we've been lucky down there. They've got the support of RDV, so there's obviously a big appetite for government to support that site. So RDV have stepped in and they've developed the sewer in the place. So, it's came at the cost of about $1 million. So it's no, easy feat to get that done. So it solves a lot of hurdles. Needless to say, we're still keen.
Yeah,
with the sewer issues to have a go at it. But, I think it's just a beautiful site, and we think something special can be delivered there. So
it's an absolute time warp there at the moment. But
what would you like to see there, Cam?
Look, we'd like to. I think it's important with all of these sites to have some sort of permanent population there. So we're sort of thinking, a bit of office. Also, I'd love to see a daycare. We've got so many more houses out there, and it's sort of in this serene bush type environment.
It is, yeah.
So I think that'd be an amazing spot for a daycare. So maybe next time we talk, I'll be in daycare because I plan on doing this.
Have I care?
My name's not going to go well with that one, so I'll keep it away from that one. We're also looking at a plants nursery, some short-term accommodation, some glamping.
It's a bit of different uses, like you're looking at very vast different uses.
Yeah, it's not typically what we look at, but we look at, so we've got Provenance wines there, they've got weddings there, so we look at what we can do to support that sort of.
It's a beautiful venue, what they do there. Right. If you support that and build off that, can't you, really?
And so we're currently talking to RDV and Heritage Victoria about that, about how we attack it and all the rest of it. It is quite sensitive in relation to Heritage Victoria and cultural heritage as well.
Yep.
So it's going to take us a little bit of time to work through those issues before we actually, put the shovel in the ground type thing.
Yeah, well, you do take on the big projects, so you've done well there. I'm excited to see what you get there.
Big projects, talking about them. One other one I want to ask you about is Brighton Hitchcock.
Yes.
What's happening there?
Well, I'm sort of picturing a blend of hospitality and upscale retail. I think there's potential for retail out of Westfield.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take away from the Westfield guys, but I think
large scale retail.
Yeah, sort of up to 500 square metres. We would entertain. If anyone's got contacts in David Jones, I think they should come to Geelong. They should
go right in there. Zara was going to come down to Geelong. So
it's a continuation of that. But I think going to Adelaide the other day and seeing how they've used all the heritage buildings to get these big tenants in and really sort of make it not so it's one big mall type thing. There's opportunity for that. And, with what Bill and Paul have done down Little Mallet, all the eateries and all the rest, and who doesn't want to, eat, shop and drink?
It's a beautiful spot down there. It just needs a bit of support, doesn't it? It just needs a bit of support, and a bit of retail would help with that.
Yeah, so, the bones of the building are actually quite beautiful. You've got, 5-metre high ceilings on the ground floor, coppered ceilings throughout. So we'll really capitalise on that and deliver it back to something resembling what it was when it was, Victoria's biggest, clothing retailer back in the day.
I remember seeing a photo of Bright Hitchcock with the tower and and there was a parade of guys off to World War One, and they were heading down the street to go off to World War One, and everybody was in the tower and people on the streets cheering them as they left to get on the ships, and that's the heritage that building has. It goes that far back for Geelong. It's such an important building. So. Yeah, all power to you.
Yeah, it's quite funny. So you look at some of our sites and you can see the renovations over time as you peel back the layers. I think that's probably had 25 different renovations over time and all serious renovation. So I think it started as about 100 square metre corner shop, and you can see the bones of it. You can see it in the footings. You can see it. So it's a bit of a history lesson just going through the place.
To be the Geelong Cats gym up on that corner as well.
Hafey was in
Tommy
there.
Hafey, that's right. And I think we've still got the sweat up there. That's like I've got a bit of sweat on the brow. We've just pulled out all the bathrooms and all the rest of it. And I swear it's smelled like 80s footy, that one.
And when I did the valuation, there's a few dead rats and other things. It was an interesting valuation. We'll just bring it back down the river. That's what we're here for. We're talking about the river. So Pegasus Antiques, have you got a plan for it?
Yeah, so we're looking at, once again, a blend of office, retail and hospitality.
Yep.
We're splitting it up into some, I think it's, and I can tell you exactly where the tenancies go and how they're laid out, but I never know the exact number. I think it's about 23 tenancies, but it might be 25. So, ranging from about 100 square metres, much like we sit in the moment, sort of half mezzanine type arrangement, and, much like you've been in next door at number 1 Rutland, very similar to that in sections. And then we've got a big 1,000 square metre hospitality venue looking in there, and it's got 300 metre square deck overlooking the Barwon.
Oh, that'd be
so
awesome.
We think that's exactly what it needs, and I can just imagine the rowing days. And if only we still had head of the river down here.
Oh, how good was that?
I'd probably have to up the engineering on that deck to accommodate for everyone who want to be there. But I think once again, we're talking about the river. I think that's the first real riverside venue that we're going to see in Geelong that actually, overlooks it and has some, actual physical interaction with it.
It's going to be quite amazing. It'll change. It will. You need something like that. The rest will change and come. And there's that much happening all the way along there with different owners. It's fantastic. We're going to interview a lot of those different owners in the next couple of weeks. Lastly, just to cap off, Cam, you're a property owner of many, many different tenancies around Geelong. You get exposed to quite a wide variety of businesses, and so it's quite apt to ask you, what do you think the market's at the moment? Where do you think the economy is going? What do you think is your biggest challenge you've got out there at the moment?
I think ultimately you just need some confidence back in the market. You know what I mean? And we already touched on the fact we need people back to the office. So we've already covered that. Fortunately for us, we do create spaces that people want to go, and we make it easy for them to get to. So we've found that all of those that do provide ample car parking and all the rest of it, we've got good occupancy levels. But I think ultimately, spaces are an investment, so we need some more confidence in the market, and I think we'll see it across everything as a result. We do have a strong focus on office. That's where it all started, and it continues to be my focus. But we always say that you need those supporting amenity as you discussed around it. So, I don't know whether that answered your question, but I spoke.
Well, I think we're filming this. The RBA hasn't made their decision February 17th on whether they make, whether they change the cash rate or not. Is that what we need to get that confidence back?
Absolutely.
Or do we need 2 or 3 of those?
I think it's just the first one. We saw a little bit of a boost once we saw a hold. Yeah. And so we just need one step down, and I think that's enough to give everyone the idea.
Just so they know it's bottomed out. So Cam, do you mind taking us through a little tour of...
Absolutely, let's go have a look.
Let's go.
Have a ciggy bag.
So, wow, you could actually give the cancer a lesson on what a green spine should look like, Cam.
Have a look at this.
So we keep joking that we just need some butterflies in here, and
absolutely
like the Melbourne Butterfly House, but
then you could charge tickets at the door for kids to come through.
No, I think with all these hard surfaces, it's always good to break it up with some greenery. So this is our first attempt with a bit of a greenhouse within the space, which we're going to replicate at Hendersons and in fact Pegasus as well.
This is amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And so all the offices open off this sort of green area.
Yeah, exactly right. And we've designed all the spaces here because this part of Paco was a bit quieter, but I eventually think it'll turn into more retail based along this side. So all the spaces were designed to, be easily converted into, retail or hospitality uses.
This is how you get people back to the office.
Yeah,
a space like this.
Yeah, amenity.
Look at the fit out's fantastic.
Who would you go, Gareth, with that restaurant right at your doorstep?
I don't think I'd leave the bar. That's the problem.
Well, look, it's definitely a problem for me, boys. I can tell you that
much. So the windows, you do all the windows yourselves with the
yeah.
because It's a fairly unique sort of setup with these windows. They're all welded up yourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, that all started at the Federal Mills because we had to replace the original heritage windows and we couldn't find anyone to do it. So, once again, decided to do it ourselves. And, we've got such good feedback about it that we just continue them throughout all of our developments now.
They've become a signature thing for your development, haven't they?
I liked them so much. What happened?
Yeah, well, you've got someone.
You did mine, yeah.
Best office in Geelong.
They were the expensive ones.
Oh, look, and look, if we look behind us, there's actually a butterfly in there.
There is a butterfly. It's Butterfly House. It's probably a moth. This is fantastic, Cam. You've done really well. Brilliant.
Well, Cam, thanks for joining us again. We're big fans of the spaces and hospitality venues that you're creating. So thanks again for joining us, and congratulations on everything you've achieved so far.
All right.
Looking forward to having you on in a few years' time and hearing all the projects.
Next time we'll be standing in Hitchcock, right? Hitchcock, it'll look as good as this.
Yeah. Hopefully we're there, hopefully fully occupied, and I'm sure we will. We're actually, about to start the development there, so
Yeah, well, congratulations,
if I do my job, I'll be right.
A great job, and these are the best fit outs in Geelong, so well done.
Thank you.
All right.